Hey guys, I'm back, and we're here to talk about The Boys.
The Boys!
Right after this.
What's up, comic book fans? Guess who's back?
It's me.
It's Stephanie, and she's back, and we're here to review The Boys. Finally, I know we mentioned this, what, a month ago? A month and a half ago?
A month and a half ago, probably.
Probably something like that. But we're back. We've watched all 8 episodes. And yeah, we're going to talk about our thoughts about it. We got a lot to talk about. We don't want to waste too much time. But first, I just want to apologize for the delay in getting this review to you guys. But what did we do?
We moved in together.
We moved in together. That's right. We're living together now. So we're going to be getting so much more content to you guys. And we're super excited about that. We're actually going to record another video after this. And maybe another one after that. So stay tuned this week and next week. Because there'll be more of... That's right. So we're going to talk about The Boys. And so... if you guys don't know, The Boys is a show that is on Amazon Prime. This debuted July 26, 2019, so obviously we are a little behind on this, a little over a month. But like I said, we've watched all 8 episodes, and I really, really liked it.
I also really, really liked it.
Yeah, it was really, really good. Good show. I mean, especially for a superhero show. There are a lot of shows out there that are superhero based, and they're just, I don't know, they're not very entertaining for everyone. They're entertaining for comic book fans because, you know, the characters are near and dear to our heart. But with this being a independent comic and about a bunch of superheroes that no one really knows very well, I think it was more engaging for a wider audience.
I agree. I think the fact that you don't know the superheroes, you don't come in with a certain expectation of who they are or how you think they should behave. So it's like getting to learn new superheroes from scratch. From scratch.
So, like I said, this is an independent comic. This came out, I actually didn't write that down when it was originally written, but this was written by Garth Ennis. And did you read the comic?
I did not read the comic. I know that's shocking. I've read so many.
I read like the first 7, maybe 10 issues when they first came out, whenever that was. I'll put it up on screen. But it's been years since those came out, probably like 10 years or so. So I knew the first big moment that happens in the first episode. I knew when that happened, which I'm just going to say right now, this is going to be spoiler ridden. Since this has already been out for a month, if you haven't watched it already, sorry?
Sorry, not sorry.
But the first thing we see in the comic, it's like page 2 or 3, is the main character, Huey, he's holding his girlfriend's hands, and A-Train, the speedster of the show, like just blows right through her, and she explodes into blood.
Nothing. She's like blood, and that's it.
Yeah, in the comic, you see her, she doesn't explode into a cloud of blood and guts like it did in the TV show. She's kind of just mangled, and he's holding her hands, but it's still the same effect. I think what they did in the show was even more gruesome.
Oh, yeah.
It was you see her teeth and jawbone, and that was pretty intense. So, yeah, that's all I really read of the comic, but let's talk about the show.
I'm ready.
You ready?
I'm ready.
Okay.
Let's do this.
All right, so let's, I guess, talk about what we liked about the show.
Okay. Things I liked about the show. I really liked Starlight. I liked her character.
So who is Starlight?
Starlight is the good superhero in the show. So you'll see if you watch the show or have already seen the show that a lot of the superheroes aren't very nice. It's actually most of the superheroes aren't very nice.
That's true.
They're kind of evil superheroes. So Starlight gets brought into this group of evil superheroes, but she's still a good person. So I like that they did that with her character, and that the fact that she didn't change and become evil as she joined this evil group. She stuck to
What was the name of the group? Something 7?
I don't know. The Super 7.
Yeah, it was Magnificent 7 or something like that.
No.
Yeah, because it was like it was a big moment at the very in the first or second
I think
episode.
They just called him the 7.
The 7, yeah, the 7. When this character Starlight, you see her training out in Nebraska or somewhere out in the country, and she's like lifting a train or something, and she's like breaking through walls, and she gets the call. She's getting called up to the 7, and it's like this big to do. And then right when she gets there, it's like this big thing, and then who does she meet?
Huey. Is that what we're talking about? Or
No,
the Deep?
The Deep.
The Deep was terrible.
So this is your first introduction into the 7 being not who they're supposed to be. Because it's like, the whole premise of The Boys is superheroes as a whole, when you think about superheroes, they're heroes. They're people that we look up to, like us normal people look up to, and we're like, oh god, they're so perfect. Like they're celebrities. They're everything we want to be. But this kind of like goes behind the curtain, and you see like they're normal people. And just think about if you were a normal person, but all of a sudden you're imbued with the power of super speed. You could do whatever you wanted. Like I could go pickpocket. I could go steal banks. I could, if you go into the realm of this show, I could go rape 100 people and no one would know because I was so fast. So that's kind of like the whole arc of the plot. The main plot is like going behind the curtain and see how evil these characters are. So your favorite character was Starlight, or one of the favorite characters was Starlight.
My favorite superhero in the show was Starlight. My favorite character was definitely Huey, which, as Bruce mentioned, is the boyfriend of the girl who gets blown up into pieces. They start him off as a very meek, pathetic guy. His girlfriend in the beginning, before she gets exploded into blood, is trying to convince him to even just ask for a raise at his job, and he's too timid and insecure to even do that. And they start him off like that, and losing his girlfriend the way he did to the superhero, and the superhero getting away with it. Like, they don't press charges. It's like, sorry, not sorry. There's no consequences at all for this guy for killing his girlfriend. Kind of pushes him over the edge. And that's when he meets Billy Butcher, which is another character we will get into. But when he meets Billy Butcher kind of forces him into a world he would never really be into. And then they kind of turn him into not so much of a meek, terrible character. He kind of sticks up for himself, becomes badass. Definitely better.
That's another thing I liked about the show was that so you had the Seven, which obviously is like the superheroes of the world. But there was this group of people led by Billy Butcher who knew who the real people were. And they were out to bring them down, which I thought, was a very intriguing, very engaging way to look at this world of superheroes and showing that they aren't great. Who's going to defend us normal people? And that's kind of like what this group was, but they are just humans. And I think they did a pretty good job doing what they were doing until the very end.
Yeah, I mean, for humans with no superpowers, they did an awesome job getting revenge, sticking up for themselves, getting done what they needed to get done. I mean, you don't feel like it's an unfair fight.
No.
Like, there's no way they could do this. They're superheroes. Like, they're superheroes because they have superpowers, but they're not, like, super smart. So it's not like that hard to outwit them. They're just strong, or they're just fast. They're not smarter than them. So they're able to use their intellect, what they know about them, and use it against them.
Yeah, it was really, really good. I think one of my favorite parts about the show was the character development throughout the whole entire show of all the characters. I thought they did a great job of making Highlander like completely creepy and like scary as all hell.
Oh yeah, I would not want to be alone with that guy.
Highlander is like the Superman character of the show, and they did a fantastic job of making him creepy as F. Oh my god, by the end of the show I was just like, at the very last episode when he ends up like killing, again, we're spoilers, killing Madeline Stillwell and like burning his laser beams through her like head and then blowing up the whole entire house and with the baby in it is just insanity. And like the way he was like kind of acting like he was totally obsessed with Madeline Stillwell, but like in like a mommy, but he wanted to have sex with her type of way was so creepy, and they did having sex, which was...
I don't think that was their first time. That's not the vibe you get.
No, she was totally using that over him,
yeah.
But it was done so well, and the deep, like, you hated him from the second you saw him from what he did with Starlight, but man, they kept him on like this really crazy character development story. Like, it went off the deep end, like his character kind of like starts falling apart after it comes out that he forced Starlight to give him a blowjob, and then his character slowly starts like getting less and less, like his assignments get worse and worse and worse, and then they send him off to like Nebraska or something, and then like some really weird stuff goes down with a girl and the fingering of his gills.
Oh god,
the gills are like on his ribs and she like fingers them. It's like really creepy, But his story arc throughout the whole thing was like really interesting to me because he's a superhero. He thinks he's a god, and but it turns out gods can fall from grace. I like that a lot.
I really liked that when you start to get to know them, you find out that, so basically all the characters, all the superheroes in the show are employed by this company.
Oh yeah.
So this company pays them, and they're sent out to jobs. People can hire them. You can have them protect your whole country. You know, they use these superheroes to make money, and the superheroes get a cut of it. So that's, you know, a big reason why they're so evil is because they're only doing this for money. They're not doing it because they're good people and they want to help you. But you find out later in the season that the company that's hiring all these people is actually manufacturing all these superheroes. They have a special serum that they're actually injecting into babies when they're born. But there's that scene where they have that baby. They're in the hospital. It's when the Billy Butcher and Huey and that whole group of guys figure out, the boys, they figure out that they're manufacturing these superheroes, and there's a baby that's born that's getting fed this serum, and he has laser beam eyes.
And Billy, and they're getting attacked by the people who are defending the babies or in charge of them. And Billy Butcher ends up using the baby as a gun and laser beams them down. It's freaking hilarious.
It's so great.
Yeah, I thought that was really cool as well. The manufacturing of the superheroes, the superheroes are brought up to believe that they were born with these powers, but nope, they're just normal normal babies who are injected with this serum, which I forgot what the compound
V.
Compound V. But you also find out that characters like the A-Train are using Compound V even after they have the superpowers to keep, being
almost like
fat.
steroids.
Oh, exactly like steroids. Yeah. Which I thought again was a really interesting. I'm sure it's been done in comics before, but in all the TV and movies I watched, this is new, and this was excellent. It was done so well, and at the very end of the show, or maybe episode 7, we see that you learn that Highlander has actually been sending this drug around the world, and having A-Train run around to all these different countries and giving it to the leaders of Al Qaeda and terrorist groups, so they can make their own superheroes. So they, the 7, can then go battle these people and still be
job security.
Yeah, job security. Yeah, that's exactly what it is. Job security.
He's creating job security. He's making sure that there's always people there for them to fight.
Yeah, which is crazy. I mean, why would you want to do that? Because what happens if they make a better Highlander and you no longer have a job? And
like we said, the superheroes are super powered, but they're very stupid.
They're very stupid.
They weren't very smart.
Yeah.
They didn't seem to enhance their brain level using Compound V. But I think that's why a lot of people like the show, and it's not just people who've read comics or like comic book heroes, is because it's more believable. You could, a baby coming from another planet that has superpowers, you're like, all right, that's not really going to happen. But a company coming up with a product that could alter people's DNA and make them super powered, it's a little bit more believable.
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
And having superheroes be evil is even more believable, because it's almost like celebrities who, these young kids, make millions of dollars, and they become pieces of crap because they're they don't know how to handle the fame and the money, and it's that is realistic to what would happen if someone was made into a superhero and lived in that world. Not every one of them would be like, I'm gonna be the good guy or I'm gonna be the bad guy. There would be a gray area of people using it for money.
Oh, 100%. Yeah. It was such a good show. It was really done really well. There wasn't a single episode that I thought was slow or bad or
no.
Yeah, it was really.
There's definitely things I don't like about it though. I'm not as nice as Bruce.
All right. So I guess so let's talk about what we did not like.
I did not enjoy the character development of the Deep like Bruce did. I thought they went in such a silly direction with him. It was so overacted, so ridiculous. So we get it. We get what you're trying to do. It was unnecessary. It was weird.
It was weird. It was very uncomfortable. The fingering scene was just so uncomfortable.
It was like they were trying too hard. There is a scene where the Deep tries to save a dolphin, and he's got it in the back of his van, and then he gets into an accident, and then the dolphin comes flying out of the front windshield. That's hysterical. Yeah. I like that part.
Doesn't come flying on the windshield, it then gets run over by a big rig, and it gets splattered everywhere.
Yeah. So although Highlander's also very overacted and ridiculous, he's expected, like that's his character. His character is supposed to be like, he's over the top, ridiculous, doesn't like, he's not a normal functioning person. He's obsessed with his boss who he wants to be his mother, but also wants to, like, he's a weird guy. So like that should be that he's so over the top and ridiculous. The Deep was just like some dirtbag, but then they made him like some weird, I don't even know how to explain it, like over the top, like there should have been a violin playing in the back while he sat in his like hotel room and cried about how hard he has it. Like,
Yeah.
it was a little much for me. I did not like that part.
Okay. I'm trying to think back of what I didn't like. I'm having a hard time because I really didn't enjoy the show, and we did finish it like 2 weeks ago.
We did. It's been a while, but that's how much I didn't like what happened with the Deep, that I can remember it and recall it and be like, oh yes.
Yeah, but
I didn't like that.
But it made a memory. Like you definitely.
Yes, that's true. I mean, I really liked the way they developed the whole boys group.
Yes. Yeah.
That was the best character development in my opinion. Like the way that they made Huey and Billy Butcher, and as you learned his story, and Frenchie. Oh my God, we haven't even talked about Frenchie. He's my favorite character.
Yeah, he's a really good character.
So great. So everything about him.
The acting, he did an amazing job acting.
He's so good. That was the best part of the show, was Frenchie, and we didn't even talk about him. How? I have no idea. Frenchie is the best part of the whole show. He goes in, he's just part of the boys, he has no superpowers or anything like that, but he's like an expert at like building bombs and weapons, and he's just part of the crew. He's French, that's why they call him the Frenchie, but they end up finding this like superhero woman that they were keeping, some Chinese gang or something is like keeping underground.
Yeah, we looked her up because we haven't read the comic book. I'm sure they have a name for her in the comic, but in IMDb they call her the female. But what we find out is that they were testing Compound V on her as an adult. So
to see if you could turn adults into
superheroes, because Highlander was sending the drugs to these Al Qaeda or terrorist groups. And obviously they weren't going to wait for babies to be born and then test them on babies. They were going to test them on adults. So I think they were doing early tests on her, and her character was, again, I think they did the casting in the show is incredible. They did such a good job of casting in the show, and the lady who's playing the female did such a good job. She was great. She didn't speak any lines.
She didn't speak,
but like you felt for her, and like. It was really, really good.
And Frenchie loves her, and he protects her.
He does.
And it's adorable.
It's really, really good.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
I was gonna say, that's what, like, I was like, building up the character development of the boys, because I feel like it went in the other direction with most of the superheroes.
I don't know, I thought Translucent did a great job of being the character that he was.
He was like in the first 2 episodes.
That was the first 4 episodes.
Really?
Yeah.
I mean, kind of. He existed in the world.
He did, but no, but he did.
Pervert in the bathroom.
He did. It was acted very well. In his scenes, all of his scenes, I felt like if I was in that scene and I had his powers, but I was put in those situations, I would have felt the same exact way. I believed every moment that he was done there, and he did just a great job of playing that. Creepy. Translucent is a person who can turn invisible, and supposedly you can't shoot through his skin or do anything through his skin.
Yeah.
But it was done really well. The one character I didn't really like, I guess, we can talk about is Queen Maeve.
Queen Maeve.
She's like the Wonder Woman character, and I just found her character kind of boring.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Highlander was good. Translucent was good while he was in the show. They kill him off, halfway through, but Queen Maeve, boring.
Mm-hmm.
She's got a boring storyline.
Yeah.
You find out that she's like a lesbian, but then she was also with Highlander, and then she like goes back to her lesbian lover, but like
Highlander forces her then to be with him for public events and whatnot, because
but like you didn't believe any of the things that she was telling, like you did with Translucent. Like she wasn't acting it really well. You weren't feeling for her or fighting for her. Whatever. You could not exist anymore, and we'd all be cool with that.
What do you think about A-Train?
A-Train also, the same thing. Like, he should have been a cooler character. He does a really good job in the beginning being a complete jerk and killing
he's
humans.
a douchebag.
Yes. But then in the middle of the episode, middle of the season, you see that he's in love with this other woman named Popclaw, and he ends up having to kill her because she's giving away information to the boys, and I just felt like that was so ridiculous how he acted that whole, like, when he met Human, he's like, it's all your fault and you're doing this all to me. Like, it was it was too much. They didn't need to.
I didn't mind A-Train. I thought he did a good job of being the main. I mean, Highlander is definitely the main villain at the end of the show, but A-Train was the main villain for the boys, or at least for Huey. our
for
main
Huey.
character.
And Huey's the main character.
For the most of the season. And A-Train consistently was a douche the whole entire season. And there was no wavering in that. And like he kills Popclaw and he continues on this. His family, I think his brother is trying to help him train to keep his speed or whatever. And he finds out that he's doing the compound V to be faster, and he tells him like he's got to quit it because his bones are getting more brittle, and XYZ his heart's being enlarged and all this stuff. And then A-Train continues doing it, and like his brother walks away from him, and I think his story as a whole was interesting to me.
It's an interesting story. I just don't like the dramatic. Like you're a superhero. You're about to kill the person that you think is the reason you killed the love of your life, and it was just dragged out and overacted, and like the end. There's a scene at the end where like Huey and Starlight and A-Train are all together in a warehouse, and they're gonna it's like a showdown because A-Train finds Huey and he wants to kill him, and it's like after he had to kill Popclaw, and it's like, you're a superhero. You could have killed him in 10 seconds, but they spend 20 minutes talking about how he killed the love of his life. It was just dragged out. Like, and see some death.
See some death. She wants more death, guys. I think, did we cover everything?
I think so. Yeah, I mean, in general, great show. I mean, the character development and Huey, Frenchie, like those guys, they save the show.
All right.
I guess you're supposed to hate the superheroes, and I hate them.
No, I hated all of them. There was like not a single superhero. I mean, Maeve kind of was she had a redeeming element, and then obviously Starlight ends up being like the one true superhero at the end. Like she's like the one saving grace of the seven. But they did such a good job with this show.
We finished it really quickly. Like,
yeah, we did.
We're giving you this review super late. We've been busy, but we
3
watched it when it came out, and we
yeah.
finished it within like a day or two, and we don't have a ton of free time, so that's saying a lot. So, I mean, it was good. It was definitely a good show.
So, next question is, I guess, are we in for season 2?
I'm definitely in for season 2. I do want to see what happens. Mostly for Huey. I want to see what they do with Huey.
I know, but what about that bomb with Butcher and Highlander there at the end?
Well, that's true. At the end, they tell you that Butcher's wife isn't dead. You think she's dead the whole season.
And that's why he's going after the Highlander.
That's why he's hunting down Highlander. That's why he's hunting down superheroes. He thinks that Highlander raped his wife and then she killed herself because of it. And it turns out that his wife was just having an affair with Highlander and has a baby with him, but they lead you to believe the baby's dead. And then in the end, you find out the baby's not dead.
Neither his wife.
He's like 8 years old, and there's his wife. So, I mean, that's exciting to see. Yes, definitely. But it kind of like threw me off. I wasn't expecting that.
No, neither was I.
Yeah, so.
But I'm excited because I think they're shooting it now. They might be wrapping soon because I know they've been shooting for like a couple months at this point. But, 8 or 9 episodes is going to take a while to shoot. But I'm definitely in for season 2. Now that we watched all of season 1 and we liked the show, would you go back and read the comics?
I do want to read the comics. I am a little torn from being someone who loves to read, and then I watch the movies, and then the movies are always terrible, and I'm like, the book is so much better, and then I can't enjoy the movie because I'm like, they should have done this, they should have done that, the book
Why
did
didn't
this.
they do this?
So I think maybe I'll go back and read the comics
once the show's over.
when the show's over,
Yeah.
so it doesn't ruin it for me, because then I'll be angry if the comics are better, and then they do a terrible job with the show.
Yeah, I definitely don't think I would enjoy the show because I would do exactly what she said. I'm definitely not reading it until all the show is completely over because I already know that what at the end of season 1 did not happen in the book. So I don't care what happened in the book. I'm enjoying the show for what it is. I'm excited to see where it goes. So would you suggest that people watch The Boys?
Oh, definitely, guys, watch it. It's a great show.
It's a really good show. You guys should definitely check it out. It's on Amazon Prime. You get all the episodes are out because that's the way Amazon Prime and Netflix does it. So go binge The Boys.
Binge it. Watch it. Spend a weekend. It's raining outside. Do it.
For everyone, it's raining?
For everyone, it's raining.
Oh, wow. Sorry, guys.
Special powers.
Enjoy The Boys.
Bye.
Peace.